Okay, this is solving absolute value equations, and the vocabulary you need to know is absolute value, which is a measure of distance a number is from 0. Because it's distance, it's always going to be positive. So in this problem, 8.4 minus the absolute value of 2n plus 5, if n equals negative 7.5. The first thing you do is substitute for n, and then you solve by multiplying and adding. And you get absolute value of negative 10. Well, I'm going to replace that with 10, because the absolute value of negative 10 is just 10. So my final answer is 8.4 minus 10 equals negative 1.6. I substituted, I solved inside the absolute value sign, I took the absolute value, and then I finished the problem. So here's how absolute value is used in the real world. An adult tennis racket has a 100 square inch head plus or minus 20 square inches. That plus or minus is how we use absolute value. What are the largest and smallest sizes available? Well, here's your formula. X will always be a variable minus the central value, absolute value of all of that, equals the range. And the range is where they say plus or minus 20. So that's where I got 20 down here. Tennis racket has a 100 square inch head plus or minus. That 100 is the central value, so I plugged it in here. Now we have to solve. Absolute value of x minus 100 equals 20. With absolute value, it's two words. It's shown by two bars. It's going to have two answers. You copy the problem just as it is without the absolute value, and you copy the problem making your answer negative. Solve it both, you get two answers, 120 or 80. So here's another one. Absolute value of 3x minus 2 plus 8 equals 1. Before I solve it twice, I need to get rid of this guy, okay? Because you only write it twice when the absolute value sign is the only thing left on its side of the equal sign. So you get rid of 8 by saying minus 8 minus 8. But now I have a problem. Absolute value of whatever equals negative 7. And absolute value can't equal negative. So your answer here is the empty set, which you can write as two empty brackets or as a 0 with a slash through it. It's the empty set. Absolute value cannot be negative. Here's a longer problem. Absolute value of x plus 10 equals 4x minus 8. Absolute value sign over here is all by itself, so now I can just write it twice. I'll solve this side first. I have x over here and x over here. I need to put them together. I'm going to move the smaller one. So I'm minus x, 4x minus 1x is 3x. Now I'm going to move this 8 over here, plus 8 plus 8. 18 equals 3x, divide both sides by 3, gives me 6 equals x, which I can rewrite as x equals 6. Over here, I've written it again, but I have that negative sign. So the first thing I need to do is distribute that negative sign through the parentheses. X plus 10 equals negative 4x plus 8. Now I'm going to move my x's again. I'm going to move them together. But this time I have a 1x and a negative 4x. A negative 4x is smaller. I'm going to move that guy over here. 5x plus 10 equals 8. Move the plus 10 by minusing 10 from both sides. 5x equals negative 2. Divide both sides by 5. I get an answer of x equals negative 2 over 5. So my answers were 6 and negative 2 over 5. A lot of work, but we're not done yet. Because with absolute value, when you have, like we did here, a variable on both sides of the equation, you need to go back and you need to check both answers. Make sure both answers work. So here's what I did. I wrote the problem out once, wrote the problem out twice. I substituted for x 6, and I substituted -2/5. Then I just solved out each problem. Here I got 16 equals 16. It works. 6 is a good answer. Over here I got 9.6 equals -9.6. Well, that doesn't work. So the only answer that I should be using is 6.